Do you have an old 401k with a former employer that's just sitting and sitting? What if you could make one simple change to those funds and generate far better returns for yourself without any ongoing effort? I'm Bryan Ellis. I'll tell you exactly how to tap the treasure of your old 401k right now in episode number 95.
You're listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio, America's only podcast exclusively for affluent, self-directed investors, where each day of the week you receive innovative investment strategy and deadly accurate market analysis that's untainted by Wall Street and unblemished by government propaganda, all in 7 minutes or less. Coming to you now from iTunes, Stitcher, and SDIRadio.com, here's your host, Bryan Ellis.
Hello, my friends. Family vacation time for me is nearing an end, and I'll be heading back home from our family's summer getaway in northern Michigan. It's been beautiful up here. The weather's been great, and it's always wonderful just to get to spend some time with my family. But I'm nearly fully recharged at this point, and I'm looking forward to sharing some amazing things with you in the next few weeks. Frankly, I've got a real challenge on my hands. There are two topics that I desperately want to discuss with you because those topics are ninja-level strategies for maximizing your self-directed 401k or IRA. I guarantee you've never heard anyone talk about these strategies before, but the reality is this. Those two topics aren't particularly well suited for discussion in public. Either they don't apply to everyone, like the strategy for doing a basically tax-free traditional-to-Roth conversion, which could save you hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, but is really only relevant for those of you with at least $500,000 or more in your account. Or the strategy I call the SDI Compound Account, which works like a 401k or IRA, but allows you to take a deduction on the front end, like a traditional retirement account, and never pay taxes on the back end, like a Roth retirement account. That one lets you have your cake and eat it too. But it's legally complex, and so it's not a great fit for everyone. Now, one thing I've decided is this. I'm going to share one of those strategies at my upcoming Summit for Affluent Investors. This particular event, called the Passive Property Flipping Summit, is coming up very soon, and it's a free event for investors who are financially qualified. At that event, we're going to focus quite extensively on our passive property flipping program, whereby our affluent investor clients profit from the huge opportunity that exists in short-term real estate flips that are performed by my team of real estate professionals who have brain surgeon level experience and a track record of overwhelmingly consistent success. In fact, we closed 2 more deals in the past week, and I'll tell you about those very soon, but suffice it to say, our investor clients are doing very, very well for themselves. If you'd like to know more about the Passive Property Flipping Summit, the only event where I'm going to speak about either the tax-free traditional-to-Roth conversion or the SDI Compound Account that's like a combination of the best elements of a traditional and Roth retirement account, then go right now to s3flip.com. Note, you should not attend the Flipping Summit if your only objective is to learn those strategies. Even though it would be totally worthwhile for you to do that, the fact is that event is explicitly and exclusively for our potential clients who recognize the opportunity in passive property flipping where the only real involvement for you is to fund the transaction and nothing more. So, again, if you're right for that, please visit s3flip.com right now. So, on to dealing with that old 401k that's taking up a bit of space in your consciousness and for no good reason. Let's set the stage. You changed jobs last year or 5 years ago or 15 years ago and you had a 401k at that employer, but rather than transferring your 401k to your new employer, or even better, doing something really smart with that money, you've just let it sit and sit and sit. So far in 2015, that's been a pretty awful idea, hasn't it? Because that money is quite certainly invested in stocks. And do you know what the S&P 500 has done year to date? Absolutely nothing. I mean, literally at the moment I checked the S&P 500 a moment ago, it was at exactly the same number it was trading at on the first day of this year. But you may be deluding yourself with the fact that it improved substantially in the 2 or 3 years before that. Of course, forgetting that if you look at the past 50 years, that it only increases by an average of about 6% per year. Yep, that's what you're accepting. Even if you're investing in something other than the S&P 500, the averages always catch up. So, what to do? Well, to start, you've got to move your money into an account that will allow you to break the chains that are tying you to Wall Street. Yes, sometimes those investments on Wall Street work out reasonably well, but that's the exception, not the rule. Remember, the S&P has a 6% average over the last 50 years. But which kind of account do you need? Do you transfer into your new employer's 401k or into an IRA of some sort? Or maybe even to one of those fancy-dancy self-directed accounts like you've heard me talking about? Or maybe something else entirely? Well, that's a critical choice, and I'd love to help you make that choice. More about that in just a second. And the other choice you have to make is, what do you do with that money once it's in the new account that's right for you? Well, how about some options that you've never had before? Like, would you be interested in generating a guaranteed fixed return of 8%? How about 10%? Maybe even 12%? Wouldn't it be astounding to be able to generate results like that consistently and to be able to plan on it and to understand exactly why those results can be guaranteed? Or maybe you're looking to allocate the funds in your old 401k to a slightly more aggressive strategy, but one that's still far safer and far more predictable than the stock market. I've seen many clients be able to generate truly substantial returns through another strategy I recommend. I'm talking about cash-on-cash returns north of 15 to 20%, sometimes far north of that level, when they do this strategy correctly. So here's the bottom line. If you have at least $50,000 of capital in your old 401k or in any other financial account that's underperforming, including CDs, and it's just sitting there being tossed to and fro with every whim of Wall Street and the Federal Reserve, and if you'd like to actually do something great with that money, money which was earned by your labor and your effort and your time, money that deserves respect and can be very valuable to you, your family, and to future generations, then let's talk. I'd love to help you figure out both what type of account makes most sense for you and how you can allocate the capital in a way that generates returns for you in a manner that's totally consistent with my investment philosophy called S3, simple, safe, and strong. You'll finally be investing in assets that make sense to you because they're simple. Your funds will be safe and your returns will be strong. So again, if you have an old 401k that's just sitting and it has at least $50,000 of value in it, and you'd like to finally have it really count for something, to really count for you and your family, then just go over to sdiradio.com/consultation. Again, that's sdiradio.com/consultation. We've set aside space for 5 15-minute consultations in the coming week, and I'd love to be of service to you, so go get one of those 5 spots while they're available. Isn't it time that you finally get strong results for your old 401k funds? Results that are predictable, that don't toss and turn constantly, and that you truly understand. Oh, and by the way, I can show you how to totally eliminate all of the junk fees you're paying right now, and you probably don't even realize just how much of them you're paying. sdiradio.com/consultation is where you need to go. Folks, invest wisely today and live well forever.
Thank you for listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio with Bryan Ellis. Don't miss a single episode. Be sure to subscribe to Self-Directed Investor Radio right now on iTunes, on Stitcher, and at SDIRadio.com. Your feedback is always welcomed via email at feedback@sdiradio.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended as legal or professional advice for your situation. Content is the property of the Self-Directed Investor Society.